So this guy right here, Lenny Henry, who's playing this guy right here in Rings of Power, may have finally put the nail in the coffin for Rings of Power. And the kicker is this: the show haven't even started yet.
How y'all feel out there?
What up, YouTube? It's your boy Fatal J, back like I left something, and I'm glad you're here. Yes, I'm glad you're here. And we're gonna speak on some more Rings of Power news, where Lenny Henry, in an interview with Empire, pretty much destroyed a lot of Tolkien lore about the Hobbits themselves. I can't believe these words came out of this guy's mouth. And it shows me where the mind frame of the showrunners and the writers are. They don't care about you. They don't care about the lore. They just care about representation. Now, I love representation. I want everybody to get a fair chance, but only where it's needed. If it's not needed, don't freak up the freaking story. But we're going to get into that. We're going to get into all that. Make sure to, before we start anything off, because it helps me a lot with my channel. Matter of fact, it's the #1 thing that helps me. Please watch this video all the way from the beginning to the end. What that does, it shows YouTube, hey, people are engaging in this, they're watching this. Let's bring more Rings of Power people that dislike Rings of Power and true Tolkien fans to this video, so they can find out the true information that Amazon is hiding from you. Also, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit that notification bell. Because when you hit that notification bell, it makes your boy Fatal J feel oh so good and oh so swell. Thank you so much. Also, if you want to support me further, make sure to join that Patreon and make sure to join my memberships. You can join my memberships right by the subscribe button, and you can also join the Patreons in the description below. Also, please do me a huge favor. If you don't want to join the Patreon or the memberships and just want to do a one-time donation, please do me a big favor. Right by the like button, there is a super thanks button. Make sure to hit that super thanks button and give whatever you can, because all I do is reinvest into my channel so I can entertain you and make a complete fool of myself for you. Now, enough of all this, let's get into the news right here about the Rings of Power, Lenny Henry. Now, I showed you guys a few days ago, Empire, they dropped these covers that came out. The covers were horrible, they were dreadful, they was trying to be new and modern and trying to be PC, but they're ruining the lore. I fell in love with Tolkien lore years ago when I was a little boy. The stories, the backstories, the details. You will not, if you're a newcomer to the Tolkien universe, to the Middle-earth lore, you have to understand, he was the king of details in these books. He was very precise where these characters came from, how they look, their ancestry, all in these books that came out while he was alive. And people thought that was fantastic. He is the detailed king. So when you see stuff, this black character right here, this Asian character right here, this character, white character that's supposed to be this character, it messed up the beauty and the masterpiece of J.R.R. Tolkien. This guy spent years on these books, took his time, gave us answers. You can trace, take a certain character like Aragorn, the king of Gondor. You can trace so many generations back of his ancestry. Not many authors and people who come out with books and content will take that much time and years to create a universe like that, to world build like that, world build with maps. And just to see this stuff get shot down is so sad. It's a travesty, man. It's just so horrible. So I'm checking out this article right here about Bounding Comments. Shout out to Bounding Comments. And they took an excerpt of what Lenny Henry had to say. Now, Lenny Henry is actually going to play a black Hardfoot Hobbit. Now, if you're a hardcore Tolkien fan, you know all about the Hardfoots. They have a certain description in the Tolkien lore. Now, I know what Amazon did with the Hardfoots with this. They took the smaller excerpt. They said that they have browner skin compared to the Stoors and the Falahides of the Hobbit race. It was 3 different tribes. Now you got Bilbo, you have Frodo. Frodo and Bilbo are part of the Falahide tribe. You have Gollum. Gollum was a Stoor. That was the more ancient type hobbits out there. But let's check out this article right here and let's break down and destroy this Rings of Power show, man. I seriously cannot recognize this. This is not Tolkien's work. This is something made new. And in my opinion, I feel like Amazon, if they wanted to do a Tolkien's clone, a Middle-earth clone, then go ahead and do that. People will say it's a clone, but at least it will be your IP and your property. But you took something beautiful and drugged it to the mud and beat it down and demand people to like it and love it. That's just not how it works with the fans. And the backlash, the Rings of Power backlash is growing every single day, and they're seeing through the lights. It's even some people out there that were saying, I don't understand the hate. I don't understand the hate. But as time grows and we see more pictures of what they're coming out with, those same people are changing their tunes. And now their tune is, I'm not so sure about this. But let's check out this article right here. It says, Lenny Henry says Amazon, The Lord of the Rings of Power sees people of color taking up space in the century of a fantasy series. It appears Amazon is taking a page out of their book, as Henry said. Finally, in this show, kids are going to see people of color taking up space in the century of a fantasy series. He added, we're very visible in this world, and that's very exciting. He's previously indicated, if you can't see it, you can't be it. I don't understand that you can't see it, you can't be it stuff. But these people do not understand that J.R.R. Tolkien had black characters in the books. No, they wasn't that much talked about, but they was talked about in the books. Skin color, part of the region of Middle Earth or where they're from. The Middle Earth has continents that's very similar. If you take a closer look, it's very similar to what Earth looks like now. And the main portion of the Middle Earth stories come from the European part of Middle Earth. And down below the Middle Earth portion is Far-Harad, which is where the darker skinned people are from. And you even have another region east of Middle Earth called where it's the Easterlands, where the Easterlands come from. And that's more of your Asian or Arabic type of people, where they come from. So these people, these showrunners are very ignorant, and I will be very shocked if they only read the appendices that came from the Lords of the Rings trilogy and haven't read the other books or the whole scope of Tolkien's lore. But let's continue with this article. He stated, this is Tolkien words about the Harfoots and the descriptions of the Hobbits. He stated, and this is Tolkien talking, the Harfoots were browner of skin, smaller and shorter, and they were beardless and bootless. Their hands and feet were neat and nimble, and they preferred highlands and hillsides. Next, describing the Stoors, Tolkien wrote the Stoors were broader, heavier in build, their feet and hands were larger, and they preferred flatlands and riversides. As for the Falahides, Tolkien wrote the Falahides were fairer of skin and also of hair. They were taller, slimmer than the others. They were lover of trees and of woodlands. Now, also in the part of that article, Lenny Henry, he was basically saying that the Falahides, not the Falahides, but the Harfoots, he was saying that the Harfoots are nomadic people. That is absolutely wrong when it comes to the J.R.R. Tolkien. J.R.R. Tolkien said that the Harfoots, once they settled in a place, they was pretty much there for a long time or until they died. So again, that was another contradiction. And also, Tolkien described that the Harfoots was a browner skin. That's not saying that they was dark-skinned black people. That's not saying that at all. It was just saying that they was from a different shade a skin color, a different shade of white, basically. Let's read. He said, not only does he describe Harfoots as browner skin, he also makes it clear they are the dominant type of Hobbit, and it's very clear through official artwork what a Hobbit looks like. Tolkien wrote the Harfoots had much to do with dwarves in ancient times and long lived in the foothills of the mountains. They moved westward early and roamed over Eredor as far as Weathertop, while the others were still in Waterland. They were the most normal and representative variety of Hobbit, for the most numerous. They was the most inclined to settle in one place and longest preserved their ancestral habit of living in tunnels and holes. So basically what I'm saying is, Lenny Henry doesn't have a freak to know what he's talking about. He's just going by the showrunners. He's going by that Disney and that Star Wars playbook where they want to talk about color, and if you can't accept it, you are an R word. I'm not going to say the real word because they'll try to strike my channel and do all that stupid stuff, but they're going to say you are a R word. You guys let me know what you think about this. I think this is crazy. I think the show is already ruined. They basically telling you, and they showed you by the Empire covers, that this is a different interpretation of the characters, different from Tolkien, and they're basically saying to you that they did it better than what Tolkien did because Tolkien is the old way of thinking, and now it's time for a new way of thinking, and in that new way of thinking, they're going to change what you love, and you better like it or you are an R word. Let me know what you think. Are you down with this? Do you agree with Lenny Henry that they should make the Hobbits black? Or you think it's totally wrong? Let me know in the comments below. Get back at your boy Fatal J. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit that notification bell. Because when you hit that notification bell, it makes your boy Fatal J feel oh so good and oh so swell. And I'm out of here, Ninja Benny.